So, let's do some boxing talk. So, Anthony Joshua, I watched the interview with him. Not really an interview, just a video he did where he was saluting all of his fans, thanking the fans for, sticking with him through his career. And, excuse me, he basically said how, there's plenty more championship fights. He's still on his quest to be a 3-time champion. Now, basically, he's showing good vibes. He's not making any excuses as to why he lost, and he never does. And if you can't respect that, then, hey, but he pretty much didn't say anything about a rematch or any particular opponent. Now, let me say this about what's going on. I already mentioned this in the last video. People were pretty much saying Deontay Wilder should retire. He's finished. He's done. So how do you go from that to saying Anthony Joshua's done because he lost this fight to AJ versus Wilder? This is no longer a big money fight. Anthony Joshua has to redeem himself. Wilder lost 2 back-to-back fights. He looked horrible in the Joseph Parker fight, and then he got knocked out.
Phone disconnected.
In the fight against Zhang. Okay? So, for AJ, Frank Warren already said he's not ruling out a fight between Tyson Fury and Usyk. You know why Frank Warren isn't ruling out a fight between Tyson Fury and AJ? Because there's a strong chance that Usyk may beat Tyson Fury again. And then if he does, this will be the fight that not only is it going to happen on British soil, but it will be still a much bigger fight than AJ versus Wilder at this point. Wilder's trying to find one last big payday. Notice Wilder was super quiet since his loss to Zhang. Tyson Fury was super quiet after the Wallin fight, and after the Ngannou fight. Now that he loses, Fury starts to talk, Wilder starts to talk, as expected. So, for AJ, remember, Dubois was the champion. So, there is no actual rematch clause. Eddie Hearn already stated that. That's why I said, if there's a rematch on the table for him, he should take that fight, like right away. If he goes into a fight with a different opponent, okay, fine. But it's going to have to be a high-level opponent. Look, at this stage in your career, it gets to a point where, and AJ never wanted to take easier fights. So at this stage in your career especially, it's like, look, man, if you lose, you just lose. But to take lesser opponents isn't going to do anything for you, in terms of even building your confidence. Like I said, you can't fight a C-class fighter and then have confidence to beat a B or A-level class fighter because you beat a low-level guy. So for AJ, whether it's Dubois or whoever, it needs to be another top-level guy. I don't care if it's Zhang. See, but the thing is this. If it's Zhang, if it's a Parker rematch, if it's a Dillian White fight, even Dillian White came out the closet and started talking, and he's been quiet, right? This guy was talking about another fight with Derek Chisora. He looked horrible in his last fight, but this is one of those things when the fighters that want to see you lose start to talk once you lose again. And AJ was looking like, yeah, he's back. And he was back. For 2 straight fights, he looked solid. But at the same time, people, but come on, man, Ngannou. Okay, but you guys wasn't saying that when Ngannou went there and embarrassed Tyson Fury. We know how that went. So, at the end of the day, to exclude the comments by people who just like to chat and run their mouth, Anthony Joshua is, from losing one fight, they just had 96,000 people come out to Wembley Stadium, man. 96,000 people. So, like I said, he has to redeem himself. Now, he can come out and look spectacular in his next fight. Now, Daniel Dubois has earned the right to fight the winner of Fury and Usyk. No doubt. For sure. For sure he has. But for AJ, if he looks spectacular in his next fight, right? Whether he's calling for a rematch with Dubois, whether it's Fury or Usyk, however, I don't think it's fair at all for him to get those fights before Dubois does. Okay? AJ could come out and look horrible. He could be finished for all we know. Or he could have just had a night where, okay, this is not the same fighter. This is not the same AJ that showed up against Wallin and showed up against Ngannou. And at the end of the day, the tactical mistakes he was making, the errors that he was making in that fight, even like from when he hurt Dubois and just recklessly went after him, it wasn't shocking. I'm never shocked when anything happens in a fight. I just know that things just happen. I mean, we've seen guys win 12 straight rounds and then get, and is winning, and in the last round get knocked out. We've seen it happen several times. We've seen, stranger things happen. So it wasn't shocking to me. It just was like, yeah, because like I say, you never know. How many countless times have you guys heard me say, you just never know what a fighter's going to do come fight night. And it's a fight-by-fight basis. So even when I say this guy should win based on their last performances. A couple of fights ago, Dubois got buzzed by a guy. Remember the guy, I can't remember his name, had Dubois all over the ring, and Dubois looked terrible. And he came back. He fought Usyk, he fought Miller. He lost to Usyk, but he fought Miller. Then he, fought the last guy, and he looked good. And I always liked Dubois as a fighter. I always said I like Dubois as a fighter, But at the same time, Dubois have been making the same tactical errors every fight. He didn't make those errors against Anthony Joshua. So he came in there, he put the pressure on AJ. Sometimes it could be certain fighters may just have a guy's number. I don't know if that's the case or not, but the whole point with Anthony Joshua is he has to redeem himself. He's not, of course he wanted to win, but he's not, like I said, making excuses and riding himself about the shit. Why should he? Like he said, it's not going to come. He said in that same video, it's not going to come from the influencer or whatever. It's going to come from here, the heart. And I know that I have it. Well, that's what he's going to have to show. It's not about just having the heart. You got to stick to his game plan. Like I said, and many of us said, we don't know what the hell AJ was doing out there against Dubois that night. What the hell was his plan? He's trying to be tactical, staying on the outside. His footwork wasn't even on point. He looked like a ranked amateur in there that night. He was making, very, very amateur-like mistakes. But it just goes to show you, man, like I said, you never know what a fighter's going to do come fight night. So no matter what you think he's going to do, and no matter who you want to win, we just don't know how a fight's going to go. So, that being said, Anthony Joshua is just say, for example, Frank Sanchez lost his last fight. Now, when a fighter lose, a high caliber fighter lose, and like I said, you get to this point in your career, man, it's like, okay, the stepping, taking backward steps, fighting lesser opponents is less compelling, and it really does nothing for you. To be honest with you, it just keeps you busy. If it's about just staying busy type of thing, you can't get the opponent you want, that's something different. But for Anthony Joshua, he wants to be in that title shot. He wants to be in that title shot picture. So he's going to have to do something, and he's going to have to show that, hey, I belong here. I'm still here. I haven't fallen off, at least not yet. He said he wanted to fight till he was 37, 38. Wilder said he wanted to fight till he was 40. And, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, strategically, these guys want to fight the top level guys. Well, some people do. You have a lot of fighters that do, and they don't get their chance. But what I'm saying for Anthony Joshua, and look at Frank Sanchez. Frank Sanchez, to me, skill-wise, that dude was like, he's a problem. And he came out there against, was it Caballel? It just got destroyed. So you just don't know. And who saw that coming? Who saw that coming? So you just don't know what's going to happen. You know, guys like F.A. Job, like, I don't know, like, you know, guys they're good fighters or decent fighters, but maybe not the very top. You know, who knows who's going to fight? Who knows? You can't take no opponent lightly. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. I mean, you know, so when you look at who's who and who's there, we don't know. Does he fight Zhang again? Like I said, does he fight Parker again? Who knows, man? Who knows? But, you know, he's like I said, showing good vibes. And y'all know me, man. I make fun of everybody. I don't care who the fighter is. I don't care if I like you as a fighter or if I don't like you as a fighter. I make fun of everybody. You know, you give me something to laugh at, I will. You know, so yeah, I did my little splish splash on him because he looked like he was taking a swim, right? Yeah, it was befitting. But we'll see what happens. And once again, man, you know, he may sit it out and wait and see what happens between Fury and Usyk, which is probably what he's actually going to do. Let me sit out, wait, see how things go between them. Because if anything, not the winner, but the loser of that fight, because he has a history with Usyk. So if Usyk was to lose, yeah, he'd be wanting to fight Usyk. If Fury was to lose, then it's like, okay, this is a fight that people been wanting and we never got it. More compelling than him and Wilder to me, to be honest with you, because Fury only lost the one fight. AJ lost, but came back and looked good, and pretty much just had a disastrous night against Dubois. But he never stopped fighting. He kept trying. He tried. You know, so it's not like he went in there and gave up, but it is what it is. So just saying, we'll be looking in the next couple of weeks, couple of months or whatever, to see what unfolds, who AJ's talking about fighting, what they have planned. But I think he's going to wait to see what happens between those two. We never know. Now, does Dubois say, I don't want to wait? Hell, I'll give him a rematch. Or does he go take his fight with the winner of that fight first? And we're talking maybe a year and a half. Who knows, right? 2 years, it could be 2 years. Who knows? And if AJ fights and continues to win, he may get that rematch with Dubois. Don't know. But we'll see how things go. And that's all I got for you guys right now. I'll be back soon with some more boxing talk.
We remember after Hurricane Maria devastated the island, Trump blocked billions of dollars in hurricane relief. Okay, contributing to thousands of deaths. How he disrespected us, and how he called Puerto Rico dirty and poor and tossed paper towels at us. We can't go back. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz respect Puerto Rico's right to define its own political status. Trump opposes it. Okay? Remember, he wanted to sell or trade us for Greenland. Right? We don't forget.